Hello and welcome to the Comic Book Communicast, the official podcast of the Google Plus comic book community. This is issue number 61 for the week of May 3rd, 2015. I know it's been a while, had some issues, but we're back and ready to talk comics. I'm Justin Beeson, and I'm joined by co-host Paul Christopher.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to be back.
And Sarah Evans.
Hey.
Every episode, each of us chooses our favorite comic of the week to talk about, and then we'll discuss any significant comic-related news and TV for the week. This week, pretty much no news. It's going to be Daredevil, and since we've missed a couple weeks, and Ultron, since that just came out. So just a reminder, you can find all of our episodes at comicbookcommunicast.com, as well as links for the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and RSS. All right, let's get right into it. Pick of the week, where each of us chooses our favorite comic, and then we'll briefly go over the rest of the books we picked up this week. So, Paul, start it off.
Sorry. Okay. My pick this week was Bitch Planet number 4, and as always, this book is a very solid book. So this actual issue was a little bit boring because but it's not really their fault. A significant part of the issue is taken up with explaining this game. So to catch everybody up, if you may not be reading it, basically there's this very violent sport. It's sort of like it's kind of like rugby meets basketball kind of a thing. So the fact that I can't point and say it's this is why they had to spend half the book explaining the rules of the game so that we understand. So it's a male-only game. So right now the plot of the comic is that the people who run the prison want to create a female team to play in this male-only game from the inmates on Bitch Planet. So one inmate has been basically coerced into creating a team out of her fellow inmates, and some of them have expressed concern that basically what she's doing is creating a hit list. She's finding all the strongest, most powerful inmates, so then they go on the field and make sure that they don't come off. So there's that, but she's got her own ideas, she's got her own plans, and that's where the book leaves us. So it's just, this is an issue to get us where we need to be so that the story can progress in the following issue. So not a whole lot of action and whatnot, not a whole lot of story being carried forward, but they had to do this issue. This issue had to happen to help us understand what comes after. So still a solid issue, just not if I was going to say, to pick up an issue to really see what it's all about, I would not pick this issue. So.
All right. So you did that one because you didn't have much time to read the other.
So as all of our viewers know, both of you, I've got it around the house, and she definitely makes it difficult to sit down and take the time to read comics. So I don't always have my whole stack read by Sunday evening, even when by stack I mean 3 books. So.
All right, so that was Bitch Planet. Oh, by Kelly Sue DeConnick, and who's the artist on it?
Let's see. They don't have the big splash pages. It just says at the bottom DeConnick, Delandro, Peter, and Coles.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Art and covers Valentine Delandro.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because they're doing something instead of taking the break on Bitch Planet. They're doing where the main artist does 2 issues and then they have a guest artist for the 3rd issue. So last issue I guess was a guest artist, and they're going to be doing that every 3rd issue, which is kind of weird for story wise, but if they can continue putting out strictly monthly, that's cool.
No filler.
Yeah. All right, Sarah. So what was your pick this week?
Well, first, I'd like to say I can't wait until we have almost 1 year old in the house, and I can use the baby with sleep deprivation excuse. But whatever. No, this week I picked for my comic one shot that Kaboom Studios put out, Steven Universe one shot, Greg Universe special, and. If you're not watching the show, then you definitely should be. It's my turn to pitch something. Ha ha ha. Paul, I don't know. Are you watching it, Steven Universe, the cartoon?
I've never even heard of it.
Probably not. Yes, you did, because I brought it up to Justin when we all went out to dinner. But okay, your attention to detail aside, everyone should be watching this cartoon. Everyone, adults, children. I mean, it's one of the few things out there that is generally amazing in pretty much every way. It's got really... Sorry?
Which means it's not destined to last. We're not fit to have good things.
Oh, I know, right? And especially since I like it, it's going to be canceled immediately. No, Michelle discovered it. Apparently, well, I've heard, I don't know, it's starting to get more and more of a fan base, but it's kind of the less desirable people sort of fan base. But we'll just see how it goes. Apparently, the longtime fans are doing a pretty good job of fending them off. Say again?
You mean girls? That's how we lost Teen Titans, because apparently girls don't buy toys. But we won't go there. We won't go there. We've only got a half.
Oh no, they're not pushing for merchandising on this one hardly at all. It was created by Rebecca Sugar, who was a main writer on Adventure Time, and about the time she left the show to pursue this project that she'd been working on for a while. That's about the time when people started losing limbs and having massive depressing story arcs instead of throwing a light episode every once in a while. And apparently a lot of that was related to the fact that she was not assisting on that anymore. Hi, Michelle. But she's a really incredible talent, and the show, honestly, it watches like the kind of show that you feel like someone has wanted to make throughout their life for a really long time, and they finally got the power to do so, and they were like, okay, great, it's going to have this, and this. It's got a huge, like a new and inventive fantasy universe with these crystal gems, these superheroes that are all based off of gems, self-evidently, and Steven Universe, who's this little kid who's the child of one of them and a human, and now he runs around with all of his mom's old friends saving the world from other, I don't know, malevolent forces that want to threaten it. And it's really great. It's got a hilarious cast of really strong, inspiring characters. Steven is freaking adorable. It's hilarious. The writing is amazing. It's got majority women on the super team. Actually, yeah, all the crystal gems we've seen so far are women, except for Steven, who's a hybrid, of course. And it's got mainly characters of color. It's got unconventional families. It's very much a family show. It's got things that'll entertain kids and make adults go, aw, and also, completely freaking hilarious. But no, that's just my pitch for the show, so that people have a little background about this comic. Because the Greg Universe special, it's about Steven's dad, Greg, if anyone's wondering about the last name, because they don't watch the show, guys. It's basically based off of his gimmick. He was an 80s, not even a one-hit wonder, I don't think, rock star who Rose Quartz, the leader of the Crystal Gems, fell madly in love with, and Steven. But Greg is a sweetheart. Essentially, he's introduced, and Steven doesn't live with him. Greg lives in his van. He runs a car wash, and essentially the subtext, I'm not sure if it's been confirmed in an episode or not, is that he lives in his car, and all of the proceeds from his car wash go to keeping Steven and his 3 guardians set up in a house with groceries and power and everything that Steven needs. And he just sacrifices everything for Steven, and it's completely heartwarming, and it's just, I love Greg. He's amazing. He's great. And he's got a good kid. So they have done this one-shot special about stories about Stephen and Greg having heartwarming father-son moments, and it's got a pretty wide range of writers and artists on it. It's separated into 5 individual short stories. One of them, wait, 1, 2, 3, no, 7 short stories, sorry. By Jeremy Soros. Universe and the Moon is the first one. Pretty good art. Not sure if there's much of a story there. I wasn't really able to follow that one too well. It kind of opened in the middle of a battle, and one of the crystal gems, Garnet, who's amazing, had to save Greg, and they had a short conversation, and I wasn't really sure what the point of it was. Some of them that really stood out were Snapshots, which is the last story in the anthology, with writing by Grace Craft, who is apparently amazing, and I need to find out what else she's done, and art by Kelly Turnbull, who, if you follow the webcomic Manly Guys Doing Manly Things, is completely incredible. She's pretty well known, I think, at least on DeviantArt, if you were part of that generation like me, and on Tumblr still as well. She creates really amazing stuff, and her art style is great. Actually, it was kind of hard to identify, like, wait, who's this person? I think I've seen her stuff before, because she was trying really hard to adhere to the art style of the show and succeeding, but like whenever someone would make a face of like shock or surprise or something, the way their eyes would bulge, it was like, oh yeah, that's her. But she's an amazing artist. I was really surprised to actually see her working in comics, because I think she's mostly posted stuff that she's done from art classes in school and animation on a TV show. But she's Canadian, so not so high on the radar anyway. And one more. I know I've talked a lot. I'm sorry. I anticipate having to explain the show. Sorry. It was really amazing. Not very long, but the writing were one I previously mentioned with Kelly Turnbull. So yeah, she's really great. Essentially, it's just Greg teaching Stephen how to play a song that Greg and Rose used to really like. The art is beautiful. It's just really great the way they do the effects of like them playing guitar, and the fact that they both get a little teary at the end. It just kind of hits you. But those are just a few of the stories in this. I think it was really great. I'd love to see a Steven Universe ongoing, if Kaboom Studios is planning on doing that or not. Haven't necessarily done any following up on that, but this was a really cute comic. I definitely recommend reading it.
Cool. Yeah, I've gotten all the episodes queued up to watch for Steven Universe, but I haven't started yet. Do they have a regular ongoing series for it?
Yeah, they do. It's ongoing. It's on Cartoon Network. So
no, I mean,
it's still.
Sorry.
Oh, you mean a comic series?
Yeah.
No. At the end there, I said I hadn't really followed up. I'm not sure if they're going to, or if they currently have a Steven Universe ongoing. It's getting pretty popular, kind of the same way Adventure Time did. Of course, same type of origin. But so yeah, I'd imagine if they don't now, they should at some point. Like y'all said, merchandising.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
At the beginning there, Sarah mentioned that she can't wait until she has an almost 1-year-old around the house, so she has the excuse. Which leads me to the question: I mean, are we expecting, an addition to the household sometime soon? Is there something you want to tell us? Is there an announcement?
At this point, although in a couple of years, Eva's probably going to start working on that. No, we've got a nephew not coming at the beginning of June, so yeah.
We're going to use that for a while.
Yeah, I can't do the Communicast this week, guys. I've got to Skype our nephew before he gets put down to bed. So.
All right, so that was Greg Universe special number 1. So my pick of the week, like Paul, I haven't had a chance. I mean, I don't have a baby excuse, but I haven't had a chance to get to a lot of my comics. But the first comic I read would probably end up being my pick anyways, and that's Batman number 40. I'm gonna spoil this, so if anybody watching hasn't read it, skip over this, I guess. But it's been out for a few days, and I mean, I had to like read it as soon as I got home because everybody on the internet was spoiling everything everywhere because um, uh, Snyder and Capullo did a bunch of interviews, and it's a pretty big status quo shift. So basically, maybe a couple weeks ago, so this is the finale of the Endgame storyline, and a couple weeks ago we found out that the new Batman after DC's big Convergence event is going to be this like robot, this big robot thing, and it's probably not going to be Bruce Wayne. So already, like, we already know kind of something's going to happen to Batman. Anyway,
You
so this
already
is
know who the robot Batman is.
yeah. Well, that was the Free Comic Book Day issue, which just came out yesterday. So I won't spoil that because that just came out and the people avoided those spoilers. So anyways, this one basically you have in Gotham City. There's this huge battle going on. Joker's infected everybody with this crazy gas that he's combined with his Joker venom and this like stuff that may be like a Lazarus pit, but I don't really remember. But so they have this final showdown, and you have Batman trying to get to the Joker. He gets to him, and Joker completely gasses him. And it looks like everybody's going to die. He's gassing all of the Bat family. Everybody's going down. And he's like, you know what? I win. Because they're looking for this chemical that came from the Lazarus Pit thing, and they can't find it. And so basically he gets to Joker, and then Joker gasses him, and he's dying, and he pulls off his mask, and the first big reveal of the issue, and it's Dick Grayson the whole time, and completely fooled Joker. And it's a pretty great reveal in the middle of it, because not for the whole time, for basically this battle, but then you go back to those previous pages and the artwork. When you see Batman getting through the scene and everything, they use the same kind of like motion drawings that they used to use for Nightwing. So where they'll draw like kind of like the path that he took, and there's like multiple figures and shows what the motion would look like. And you're like, oh, it totally makes sense. He was definitely being drawn, and he moved like Nightwing was. So he got Joker to tell him where the stuff was. So that's where Batman is going to. So then we switch gears to they're down in the caves beneath Gotham, and Batman finds the pit, but then Joker shows up, and they just have this huge brawl, and as physical as well as they're going back and forth talking to each other about everything, and I can't even describe it because it's so good. Like, this is a perfect fight for those two, but it basically ends with Batman, like Joker had laced the whole thing with explosives, and they bring down the cave onto both of them, and that scene ends with them lying next to each other, both dying. And Snyder has said that he's gone, but he's not fooling. He said we're gonna bring him back, but we're only doing this because we have an story to tell on and with him coming back. But for now, both Joker and Batman are dead. So crazy issue. I don't know if my video is working right now, but the cover to this thing is probably one of the coolest DC covers that has come out. It's this weird like Japanese folk art type thing with the Batman and Joker taking on, like, the Joker's like this dragon and the Batman's like this dark angel thing. It is cool. Great story. Probably one of my favorite endings to a Batman storyline on the New 52 run, because Snyder, like, his endings, he always seems to like have to get a lot out all at the end. Like, he doesn't have enough time in his previous stories, but this one is really great. So yeah, that was Batman number 40. His whole New 52 run has been good. This is probably my second favorite behind the Court of Owls story arc. So Paul, you didn't have a chance to get to this one yet?
Well, no, I just, as soon as you said like I'm going to spoil it, I'm like, crap. So that's why I had my iPad up. I'm like, flip, 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 flip. Just skim through the whole thing straight to the end. Like, okay, I beat you.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, I had to read it as soon as I got home because everybody on Twitter, like they're just talking about it, and I got the ending spoiled for me before I even got to it, which is a bummer.
Once we
So you just had to return the favor.
Once we knew who the new Batman was, we had an idea that like Bruce was going to go away for a little while, and I like the fact that was it Capullo was honest with us and said yes, we're going to bring him back. Didn't try and pull that crap of like no, he's gone forever. Yeah, we're totally not going to bring him back in a year.
3 months later.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that.
Yeah,
we did the right thing. It's like yes, absolutely, we will bring him back, but for now, so we can tell this other story. That's cool. That's cool. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to read the other story, but you know. But this, it goes back to what I've been saying all along, is that what we need is a new generation of these heroes instead of them constantly telling the same stories over and over and over again. Because so long as Bruce Wayne is Batman,
if he's going to come back, though,
tell Bruce Wayne stories. So, like, we need to permanently get rid of Bruce Wayne and everybody else and make room for a new generation so that you can have, basically the only superheroes that have managed to actually do that successfully is Robin. It doesn't keep going back to Dick Grayson. Robin has become different people
That'd be really
Robin
funny, though.
and put their own spin on the character to the benefit of the character. So, I would like to see them do that with both Marvel and DC across their universes. Like right now we've got like a new Captain America. It would be great if like that was it. Steve Rogers like takes over as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, He goes off, he does something else. People die, people get married and just like leave the game, things like that, and just move on for the next generation to come up. I mean, that's part of the problem with the X-Men. That's why we've got like 80 billion X-Men and have to come out with 15 different titles and 30 different teams because they can't just kill anybody off or just let anybody retire. So they always have to have all of them all the time. So, anyway. All right, sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I like when I think I've said on the show before, but the Dick Grayson as Batman, that Batman and Robin run for those like 25 issues is like one of my favorite Batman stories.
It was so good.
Along with Scott Snyder's Black Mirror, which is Dick Grayson as Batman. Amazing, because you have new viewpoints on the character. It's not just the same stuff.
It should have been. It should have just moved on to Dick, and that'd be the end of it. And Stop it.
All right, so that was Batman number 40. Sarah, what else did you pick up this week?
This week, I picked up the newest issue of Harley Quinn. I forget what number I'm on because I'm several weeks backed up on that and actually all comics. Sorry, I've been going through a massive lull. For some reason, I'm not finding anything interesting anymore. And while there's a few series that, like Harley Quinn and Rat Queens, continue to stand out, and one shots like this week, I was excited to see a Steven Universe special. I don't know. I'm burned out somehow. I'm having reader's block, so looking for something to jumpstart that. So the new. Oh my God. Yeah, okay, so I said jumpstart it, not turn me off of comics forever. Again, attention to detail, Paul. Thank you. So, Harley Quinn, and let's see. From last week, I haven't cracked the cover on this. Something called Giant Days by Boom Studios looked really good. The art, at least. So I have no idea what it's about, but incredibly cool-looking, indie-looking cover. So intend to read that. And I've been getting the Princess Leia series as well. So I think that's 3 issues in as of this week, and gonna get on that too.
Cool. Paul, how about you? What else did you pick up this week?
All I got this week was Alex and Ada number 14, Batman 40, and Bench Planet number 4. Those are the only 3. I was starting to worry. I was like, wait, did some of my subscriptions fall off? Because I had my pull box has been really light lately. But
Well, it's a 5-week month, so we had it more spread out.
okay.
Yeah, so that I was thinking the same thing until this last week, and like my pull is cut. All of my books waited till the last week. So for me this week, Avengers number 44 and New Avengers number 33. These are the final issues before Secret Wars. So looking forward to see how they wrap that all up before it starts. Batman 40. I'm pretty much staying out of Convergence. I read the first issue and just ugh. But I picked up the Question 2-shot, and then I'm picking up the Shazam 2-shot. The Question because Greg Rucka is writing it again. It's Renee Montoya, and then Shazam because
thank you.
Shazam because Doc Shaner's drawing it, and I really like his art. Fantastic Four number 645. It's the last one ever, maybe. The Injustice annual, Justice League number 40. I'm hopping back onto this because it's basically they're doing another kind of an event, but just within Justice League. So I don't think there's any crossovers or anything, and it has to do with Darkseid. And I read the little preview in the Free Comic Book Day issue, and that got me pretty excited. So I'm gonna hop back on to Justice League for that. The Multiversity number 2. This is the conclusion to Grant Morrison's Multiversity event, which has been pretty great. Weird, awesome, and all the good comic booky ways. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he wraps that whole thing up. Pisces number 1. This is a new sci-fi comic from Curtis Weeb, who writes Rat Queens. So that's why I picked it up. I have no clue what it's about, but he gets a blind buy after Rat Queens. Princess Leia number 3, Superman number 40. I'm just curious about this one because John Romita Jr. wrote and draw this one, and then after this, Gene Luen Yang is taking over writing duties, and he has done all the Avatar comics, which are awesome. And then he has his own indie stuff like Boxers and Saints and a couple other things that have gotten a lot of high praise. So I'm very curious to see what he does with Superman. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 45. One of the most underrated comic series that not a lot of people talked about, but it has been consistently awesome this whole time. So that was my poll list. I think we find out with this issue, so I'll let you know after I read it.
And seriously, what's the big deal with John Romita Jr.? His art is horrible.
Yeah,
it's awful.
I'm not a huge fan, but this issue has a big status quo shift in it because I read speaking of what I want to get to next is the Free Comic Book Day issue, but there's a huge shift in Superman. He coming out of this, he's getting depowered a little bit. Apparently right now he can only jump. He's got that new power that depowers him for a day, but I guess something happens to where he's not getting all of it back. And Lois Lane reveals his secret identity to the world. So we'll see what they do with that. So that was my issues. Did either of you get a chance to get out for a Free Comic Book Day?
I didn't, but my my Time Hop app reminded me that we were all together for Free Comic Book Day, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
I think we've done it twice now.
Memories.
Something like that.
Yep, because that was when I got Jason Aaron to sign some stuff.
Yep.
Because he was at Third Eye Comics. Yeah, so Sarah,
I only remember last year at Third Eye.
Was it last year?
Oh, sorry.
Was it only a year ago?
I think so.
Yeah, might have been.
I think so.
Cool. I think we've done it twice.
Well, y'all have probably known each other longer because I was not here in spring of 2013.
So only one time, maybe.
But,
I know we've gone.
Right. Sorry, I think there's a bit of a lag. My bad.
Oh, it's okay.
No, did not get out yesterday for Free Comics Day. I don't know. Like I said, haven't been into that much that I'm still pulling lately. So I probably should have. I might have found something good now that I'm thinking about it. Just the range of stuff that they usually have out. And I remember now that we're talking about it last year. Last year, Michelle and by proxy myself discovered Saga So,
that's right. Yeah.
oops. But yeah. So no.
Wait. You guys discovered Saga, or you were dragged kicking and screaming to Saga?
Yeah, I think it was the latter.
No. No, that was the latter with me. Michelle happened to pick up like the first 2 trades on discount, and she was like, "Wow, this is really great." And I was like, "Oh, let me see." So.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I didn't go to my usual shop. I went to another one nearby because it was closer. And they limited the amount of comics I could get, so I only got 3. But I got the Divergence, which is what I talked about. They have short stories from the new Batman, Superman, and then the setup for the new Justice League. All of it was really good. I'm sure it'll hit Comixology. I think it usually hits within a week, so everybody will be able to read it. Secret Wars number 0, because I'm following that event, and then Motorcycle Samurai, which is a guided view comic that has been going up on Comixology for a couple of years now, and it's awesome. It's like like a sci-fi western thing with a samurai. So I believe this is the first time it's in print. So I definitely wanted to pick that up because it's one of my favorite digital comics. So I guess that does it for this week's comics. So for our issues this week, we're just skipping news. We have 2 big things to go over.
Wait.
What?
Before we go that far, like just before we aired, I saw that they posted a picture of the entire Suicide Squad, including our first real look at Harley Quinn, and I wanted to know if our resident Harley Quinn fan had seen that picture or not, and what she thought of it.
Well, no, because if it started just before the Communicast, oh my god. Okay, so let me Google. Let's do Daredevil while I Google.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do Daredevil.
All right, so Daredevil.
Has everybody seen it yet?
Sarah, did you watch all of Daredevil?
Je désolé, je ne parle français, anglais.
Yeah.
Je désolé.
Okay, so we're gonna spoil it all. So
Here we go.
it's been out a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So Paul, what did you think of it?
Okay, so overall, really, really, really good. But this is the guy who brought us Spartacus, which was also really good. All right, so enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't enjoy was the fact that they made us wait till the last episode, like the last frame of the last episode, to give us the red suit. It's like, that is crap. That's absolute crap. So now we got to wait a whole year to see him actually in the suit. Now I understand that this was supposed to be like kind of the origin story and all that. I understand that. I dig that. They could have gotten to the red suit by the 6th episode. But whatever. I mean, like, if that is my biggest complaint, then they've done their job. I also didn't like the fact that Foggy found out Matt's secret. That's ridiculous.
He knows it in the comics.
I was gonna say, I have to preface this by saying, like, I don't read the comics, so I don't know what's true to the comics and what's not. I just thought that Foggy's reaction was ridiculous. Just, well, what about me and what about us? And you've been lying. And it's like, of course he's been lying to you. Shut up. All right, he's running around doing illegal stuff. He's spared you that. He's making you not complicit. So you're a lawyer. You should know the favor he's doing for you. Not to mention, the guy is half dead when he's talking about it. So it's like, shh. And then
no excuse. No, that's bullshit. What? Next he has to put his baby to bed.
And then what was it? Karen? Karen is the girl from True Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she gets first of all, the fact they killed off a significant character from the comic books, I was like, whoa. So I thought, like, I could really see him as, like, a really good thread throughout the series. And then they killed him off. I'm like, huh?
We're talking about Ben Ulrich?
Yes.
Yeah, that one completely shocked me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, what the crap? But then, when she's like, she kind of copped to it. She kind of admitted to it. But the fact is, that is, like, all her fault. His wife is going to go without him now, all because she dragged him back in, through trickery, through deception, for her own reasons. So she got him killed, and, like, they didn't focus enough on, like, making sure that, like, somebody pointed that out and that she understood, like, this is her fault. It is all on her. But again, these are minor things. This is 13 episodes, and these are the only two things I can come up with. I really like the way that they handled Kingpin. I like the way where they basically made him a sympathetic character. And just the show is great. The fight choreography overall is really good. There's a couple times where I felt like it was kind of I noticed that like they changed the sound effects for the punches after the first episode, and I thought they sounded much more solid in the first episode. They sounded like much more powerful than in the subsequent episodes. But again, these are minor nits that I'm picking here. So it was an excellent series. I think that they could have done a little bit better job to set it in the rest of the universe. Like they mentioned, Thor and all that, kind of offhandedly, but it's in New York. We should have seen shots of Avengers Towers like at least twice.
Yeah.
That would have been, but because it does definitely have a different vibe than Agents of Shield, so I can kind of understand. But like I definitely don't expect to see Coulson popping up in there because that would just be weird. Because this is everything everything that the adults wanted Shield to be. Like these guys are not messing around. I would pay big money to see the same treatment go to Punisher and Blade. That would be ridiculous.
Well, Charlie Cox is definitely campaigning to have Punisher in season 2, so we'll see how that goes. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I kind of like that they kept it its own thing. I'm getting a little. We'll talk about this when we go to Age of Ultron, but I'm getting a little tired of the like real hard effort to tie into other things. Like I like that it was just doing its own thing and didn't worry about letting us all know that it's in the same universe. It can coexist. Like it didn't do anything to conflict with it. I'm good with that. But yeah, really loved it pretty much all the way through. I thought like the story was told well over the 13 episodes. I loved Kingpin, and I really loved how they handled Vanessa. That's a dynamic between a supervillain and his partner, like a romantic partner that you don't really see all that much. She was supporting him, she was encouraging him, and she definitely had some agency there. She wasn't just a trophy wife or whatever, She was an active contributor to his actions.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the things I completely agree. I thought that they handled her very well. Like she was fully complicit, fully aware, and the producer said that in the beginning. Like it's like we did something unusual in this case where the love interest or the romance here is from the villain. It's not Matt in like a romantic subplot. It's the villain in the subplot, and it was really good.
Yeah, and then like you said, the fight choreography was awesome. That second episode where they have the long extended shot where he busts into the rescue. Does he rescue a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just through the hallway and out of each room. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
That
was fantastic.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of the series for me. Yeah, I mean, it just makes me mad that we have to wait so long for another one of these. Sarah, did you get a chance to watch this?
I have not, no. Daredevil's never been one of the superheroes I'm totally invested in, and again, I tend to follow characters more than be devoted to certain series or certain authors, so I'm definitely going to tune in for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, of course, and probably even Iron Fist, because Luke Cage adjacent. But
it's 3 of the 4, so you might as well tune into this one.
Yeah. I know. Well, this one, it's like I could take it or leave it. I hear it's better than the incident with Jennifer Garner, but I don't know. So, I'll probably watch it at some point. Probably.
Yeah,
just Google Charlie Cox topless. See if that changes your mind. It's like literally it's like in his contract that he has to spend like half of each episode with his shirt off.
Twilight rules, got it. Yeah, no, I don't know him from Adam, but I'll look at it.
I really liked how they handled the origin parts of it too, like with the flashbacks to his dad. All that stuff was good. It didn't feel. It came like naturally, but there was a lot of exposition there, but it felt like it it all came in naturally and tied into what's going on, like what he's dealing with now, and the stuff between him and his dad was like some of my favorite stuff of the series too. It was all good.
Yeah, like they really, really knocked this one out of the park. They did a fantastic job.
So obviously it's a definite recommendation. I haven't seen any negative reviews of it, so if you haven't watched it, watch
Go
it.
to
Even
Internet
if
Weekly, they have got like recaps of all the episodes, and they loved every single one of them as well. And they've got like a lot of really good kind of like in the recaps. They've got like a lot of kind of good like insight and discussion about different aspects of the episodes and whatnot. So I recommend checking that out.
cool. So for our next big media event, we have Avengers: Age of Ultron. So this came out on Friday. Oh yeah, Paul's got his poster. Another warning: we're going to talk about the whole thing. So if you haven't seen it, skip ahead. Sarah seems to already know what's happening in it, so she's good to go. So Sarah, you did not see it. You want to
Save
tell
me a
us?
trip to the theater now.
You want to tell us your reasons for not seeing it?
I'm not seeing it yet. I'll probably break and we'll go see it at some point, but I'm definitely not excited, and I actually have never really hit a point where I heard something about this movie that got me excited about it. From the moment they announced that Joss Whedon was going to be getting to write the sequel, which he's on a project for a certain amount of time, and then he feels like he has to shake it up, so he starts fucking with people's backstories, and he does weird stuff with the female characters' reproductive organs, and he tries to kill people, and he falls into archetypes that, like, oh, I've used this character model about 3 different times before, so let's use it again, and let's even force characters who historically have not had this personality into this mold. Like, the second it was announced that using the Maximoff twins in any capacity, I was instantly like, oh, no. It's going to be Simon and River Tam. Call that shit. And apparently a few other people were making the same noises. Then when they released the photos from, the set, when they actually had the Scarlet Witch in her fully sundress and combat boots and leather jackets, I was like, River Tam. Called it. And more people were starting to catch on to this. Now that the movie comes out, looks like he went River Tam, and apparently he was riding Pietro pretty close to Simon with the overprotective big brother thing, and there's nothing about that, about what they did with Pietro. We're doing spoilers, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. There's nothing appealing to me about, I don't know, killing him off to give her character motivation or further her story or anything. It's not really innovative, and I don't know, just the idea that, again, have not seen the movie, so I know that there's a huge argument, well, you can't judge it until you've seen it, and I probably will, like I said, but it does not sound good at all to me. Not to mention what I've heard about the way he writes Captain America is really bland, the way he wrote Iron Man, as if all of the character growth that he had with dealing with PTSD and moving on with his life as Tony Stark as opposed to Iron Man, which, I mean, if he signed on for more movies, it's like, how long is that going to last anyway? But apparently completely ignored any emotional growth Tony would have had in Iron Man 3, is what I hear from reviews and from my wife. Also the fact that I didn't, and the Black Widow thing, which I'm sure everybody's aware of at this point.
What Black Widow thing?
Yeah.
What Black Widow thing?
The one where, true to form for him, because let's not forget the Cordelia incident, he decided to have a female character have growth or a story arc or whatever based on her reproductive organs as opposed to anything else, and having her refer to herself as a monster because she can't have children. And especially contextually, that really, from Joss Whedon's perspective, it belittles everything that Bruce Banner's gone through, and it gives Natasha, it shoves her about 30 years back in feminism. And
Okay.
and is her character.
So let's start from the beginning.
Go.
She is not River Tam in any way, shape, or form. She is fully cognizant, fully aware, has full agency. Yes, Pietro is very protective.
Pietro is Simon Tam.
Yeah,
for sure.
but she is not River Tam by any means. She doesn't wait until like everybody's dead to finally start using her powers. She sets everything in motion. You know, like she's very, very, very like she has full agency. She's not been suckered into anything. She's not like she's like fully intelligent, fully aware. She's not doing the River Tam like autism thing.
Well,
She's not
she's
doing
fully
any of that
intelligent
stuff.
and aware too.
Huh? No, but River Tam always did that like autistic thing, like she's all up in her head and she's so quiet and she's like all awkward.
Oh my God,
She's
schizophrenic.
not
Thanks.
awkward. So anyway, so like that comparison is completely baseless.
So she doesn't act all like big-eyed and wayfish, and
No.
until it needs to pull out her super duper awesome
No.
life-changing powers.
No. They had their powers from the beginning of the movie, and she uses her powers from the beginning of the movie very effectively.
Well, right, but the point at which her powers kick in is irrelevant based on the fact that when she's not using them, does she, act just like she's kind of sitting in a corner being uncertain?
The entire movie. The movie
Okay.
progresses because of her powers.
No, the only time she does have the sit in the corner moment, but it's because she would use her powers on the Avengers and then didn't discover against Ultron and then Red Vision and then discovers that Ultron wants to destroy the world, and then she has that moment where she's like, crap, what did I do? What happened? And then, she talks to Hawkeye and they, she switches sides. But there's
Hawkeye
that.
gives her the speech.
The Quicksilver thing, I actually think him dying is not part of somebody else's arc. It's not for her. It's for him. It's part of his character arc. So Quicksilver, he starts out as basically the twins only, they start out only caring about themselves. They're doing what they need to survive. Then they're doing what they need to get to revenge. And then they realize that they should be helping other people. So it's Quicksilver's character progression, and he finally makes the sacrifice because he's covering for Hawkeye, who's saving a little kid. So yeah, it's a.
Also, as they showed very conspicuously at the beginning of the movie, they've got this magical machine that stitches skin and stuff back together. So just because he's dead, I mean, Coulson was dead in the last Avengers too. I'm just saying.
I think Quicksilver's actually dead though.
Well, it depends.
You think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are waiting in the sidelines with a butterfly net?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is this is Joss's last movie. He's done with Marvel, at least for the foreseeable future. So
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Joss wanted Coulson to stay dead, and you saw that Marvel didn't do that. So if Quicksilver is a big popular character, Marvel will absolutely find a way to bring him back. Yeah. So, and then what was the third thing that we were talking about?
Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah. So all of that is in there, but her monster reference is not to the fact that she can't have children. Her monster reference is the fact that she was an assassin from a young age and has killed a lot of people. It's all that red ink on her ledger. That's what she's referring to as a monster. She brings up the fact that she can't have kids because she's trying to, there's this romance budding between her and Banner, and Banner's like,
out of nowhere.
Banner's like, it's like it would be physically impossible for me to have kids. Like this is why we shouldn't. I can't give you like the family and the kids and the house and all that stuff. She's like, I can't even have kids, so don't worry about it. That kind of thing. So it's completely different now. Whether or not this whole part about sterilization is true to the comic origin, I don't know. And they certainly didn't mention that in the what do you call it? Was it Agent Carter, when they kind of delved into the Black Widow program, but that may have been a later innovation too. So don't know. So, but just so we're clear, like that's not. She's not saying like, oh, since I can't have kids, I'm a monster. That's completely separate.
I guess I'll have to watch it myself and look at the context of the scene, but everyone I've talked to seems to think that because she had the monster line right after the I can't have kids line, it is in direct relation to that.
Oh,
and
no, I
that's
didn't
like
get that at
a
all
huge chunk of the internet blowing up on that.
Yeah, well, because there's a huge chunk of the internet that just really has to be angry about things all the time. So that is
Maybe, but the parts I follow are generally pretty on the ball, in my opinion. So I guess I'll have to watch the movie and check it out at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Although
now
it really, really pisses me off to give Joss Whedon my money. Footnote.
So now that we've gotten all that out of the way, Paul, what did you think of the movie?
I liked it. I'm glad I went in with lowered expectations because some of the initial reviews came back and said like, look, this is a good movie, but it's not as good as like some of the people have been expecting it to be. This build up, because like the trailers were incredible. The trailers definitely did their job, and I definitely enjoyed the movie. I would say I enjoyed it as well as I did the first one. But from the trailers, especially like the initial ones, I was really thinking like this was just going to be like this game changer. Like this is just going to take it up to 11, and like Ultron, they did an Iron Man 3 on us. Like I really thought that Ultron was going to be like this really, really scary villain. Like holy crap, And like I don't know how they're going to get out of this. And it turned out that no, he was cracking too many jokes, which is something that I've seen in other reviews.
Are you talking about Ultron?
Huh?
You're talking about Ultron doing that?
Yeah, Ultron was cracking a few too many jokes.
That was one of my issues too.
Huh?
That was one of my issues too. He was a little too casual.
Yeah, he really was, and it wasn't quite as scary as I thought it would be. But we also find out that we're missing like an hour of the movie, or more. Yeah. And we're going to get that with the Blu-ray, so I'll be interested. And that's the other thing too. Is some of his best lines were in the trailers, but not in the movie. Like when he says, like, "Hope, I think I'll take that from them first." That was excellent. But that last part, "I think I'll take that from them first," was not in the movie. And there's a couple other lines I can't remember specifically which ones, but like where he says like, "There's no strings on me." And all that, like that was like the Ultron from the trailers was scary as all get out. Like that was an intimidating bad guy. What we got in the movie, not so much. It was like they did with Iron Man 3 with the Manchurian, where like they really actually accidentally created an honest to God scary villain, and then screwed it all up at the end. Like, it's just a joke. So, but again, I still recommend the movie. I still enjoyed the movie. It's still absolutely worth going to see in IMAX 3D if you can help it. So I just definitely bring down your expectations a little bit is all.
Yeah, I really liked it too. It was nice to not. I mean, there was a little bit of infighting, but I'm glad that we don't have, a first half of the movie with them fighting each other before they team up, Like, they're friends, they're an established team. Like, that's the dynamic I want to see, so that was really cool. I really like the Maximoff twins in the movie. It sucks that they can't, make them mutants like they're supposed to be. But I thought the progression of those... and I thought the progression of those two characters was really good.
And I thought Quicksilver's power, the way that they portrayed it on the screen, was so much better than X-Men. So
I'll disagree with you there because that scene, the one scene, the Quicksilver scene in X-Men where he breaks out Magneto and just decimates the whole room, still is better than a lot of the stuff that they did with Quicksilver. But I did like how they did.
That's really. I want to ask you guys about that.
I don't think it was better though. Apparently they shot him like two different modes. So like they shoot him regular and then like they'd shoot him in like an extremely high frame rate camera and like they'd blend them together. But yeah, so that was good. What was I gonna say? I completely agree with you about Ultron. He was a little too casual, a little too quippy, and the movie didn't feel as big as the first one, and that was readily apparent because I saw the double feature. So I saw Avengers and then right after Age of Ultron, and it wasn't as good. And also, Marvel needs to figure out some other climactic battle than a bunch of things flying at the hero team and they punch them all. Like, they
Yeah.
did it in Avengers, cool. Then they did it in Iron Man 3 with all the like extremist guys. Then they did it in Guardians of the Galaxy with all the stupid little ships from Ronin. And now they do it again with all the little Ultron clones. Like, we need another.
Did Thor have flying and punching?
What?
I'm trying to remember if Thor had flying and punching.
I don't remember
he did.
that second. Which one, first or second one?
Most recent one. So
Thor Dark
yeah.
World? I don't remember.
They were on that flying ship at one point.
Yeah, but anyways, they need to find a different dynamic than that to end the movie. Just stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was really good, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. Oh, that's right. That was the other thing that Sarah had said, that basically all Iron Man's character development had been reset. I disagree, because that's the whole motivation for him to create Ultron, is that he's done with the superhero thing. He's done with creating the destroying cities. He's done with all that, and he wants to prevent it before it even happens. And that's how his motivation and his drive to creating Ultron.
Also, like.
So where did his new flotilla of suits come from?
So what?
Where did his new flotilla of suits come from?
Well, so that's what he talks about. Like, the Battle of New York had such an impact on him, right? And those aren't suits; those are individual androids. So that it had such an impact on him. It's like all he can think about now is like, we aren't prepared. We aren't prepared for an enemy of this magnitude, and that's again his impetus in this movie is like a reminder of what happened. And it's like, we're not ready for this. So he created these, basically they're semi-autonomous suits. Like, you can't wear them; they're androids that go, like, when they're having a major battle in a populated area. The androids go out and they land and they say, like, this area is dangerous. You need to leave, that kind of thing. And so like Justin said, like, his whole thing about creating Ultron and creating these suits is to get out of the superhero business. And he says that to Captain America. He's like, isn't that the whole purpose? Is so that we can win and go home and not have to do this. And so he is still very much affected by New York for this whole thing. So yeah.
A couple other things, or one more thing I didn't like. Crap, I forgot what I was going to say. What I'd mentioned before about tying into the extended universe. So they cut an hour, but they still left in all the stuff like, Thor's vision that he has, which is setting up the next Thor movie, which is Thor Ragnarok, where everybody dies in the comics. And then the whole thing with Wakanda, where they have to go on this big side mission to introduce the Black Panther bad guy and to get the vibranium from him. Like, didn't need that. But after that, leading into another thing that I did like, Vision. Oh man, he was awesome. I thought like his look was cool. It was a little weird that they did a CG cape when Thor's standing right there with a material cape, but whatever. Paul Bettany, like the way he portrays him as like a new being in the world, and kind of like not really, he won't outright condemn Ultron, just his whole view. Like, I thought they handled that real well.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. And then, I love the Hulkbuster armor. And the idea of the Hulkbuster armor and then the Veronica satellite that's floating behind him to give him more accessories and replace broken parts as he goes, like, that was great.
One thing that bothered me
clever.
it was a small thing, but like it bothered me a lot. Is like so you got Maria Hill there, and you got Natasha Romanoff. These are the only two female Shield agents right now, even though they're not. Neither one's actually Shield. So these are the only two female Avenger agents right now, and you never actually see them together. Like even when like a fight breaks out, like you never see them like hanging out talking. You know, like hey,
it doesn't even pass the Bechdel test.
Other female, huh?
It doesn't even pass the Bechdel test.
Well, but
Scarlet Witch is there.
They don't talk to each other, so
yeah, but
they certainly don't talk about.
Okay. Because we know it's not passing the Mako Mori test. God knows.
But you know, and that's just the one thing. Like you think that would happen.
Yeah.
Because like you know, after hanging out with all that testosterone all day long, that like she would be, you know, it would just be cool to see the only two female agents like, you know, at least say hi to each other. And then, like, when the fight goes down, it would be cool to see those two fighting back to back, like somebody throwing the other one on, and they're both coming up shooting, something like that. But again, it was a small thing overall.
What about the after party scene when Ultron gets? Because they're both there.
Yeah, but they're not like actually fighting together. She is busy with Bruce. So,
yeah.
But. Yeah, minor thing. We'll see what happens when we get some new leadership for the next the next two Avengers movies.
Yeah, so the Russo brothers are taking it over, and that I'm excited for that because the Winter Soldier was real good. So now that we have Age of Ultron, Paul, what are your top 5 Marvel movies? What's the new order?
I had a question.
Sarah
had a question.
Oh.
No, before we move on, sorry. I'm going to ask real quick because you mentioned that something went on with Thor and leading up to his next movie. I only just remembered that he existed in these movies when you mentioned that. I haven't heard anything about Thor in Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, nothing. Radio silence. So, like, what do you guys think? Like, was he just kind of shoved to the back in this movie because they couldn't use him as much? Or was he good, or was he bad, or what happened?
I thought he was equally in this movie as he was in the last movie. You know, I mean, the problem, I think what it is with the Avengers, they try and bring out Hawkeye and the Hulk more because he's the only movies that they get to be in. Like, Thor's got his own movies, Cap's got his own movies, you know, stuff like that. So, tried to give, you know, they tried to give Hawkeye and Banner more opportunity. And, yeah.
I did like all the Hawkeye stuff.
Yeah, he's not one of the archetype that we didn't write.
Yeah, Thor just kind of, well, he basically, he finishes creating Vision. He's the one who kind of powers him up.
And then the whole joke with the hammer was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in I think that was one of the first bits of the movie that we saw was the scene where everybody's trying to pick up the hammer.
Yeah, but then at when Vision picks it up, like the whole theater was laughing.
Yeah, there was some good. I mean, that's kind of a Whedon thing, but there was some good, you know, long running jokes through, you know, that run throughout, like the hammer thing, the whole language thing with Captain America.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely a Whedon thing. I like that a lot. So, any other thoughts on the movie?
Well, there was the mid-credits scene with Thanos. I was actually disappointed, you know, because it was so brief. So brief.
Yeah, there wasn't much there. Like we've seen Thanos. I mean, like I don't know how it is for the general public, but like I know he's going after the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't necessarily need that as, you know, a teaser. Like I know that's what he's doing.
Yep. And
it's revealed as much pretty much in, you know, Guardians or whatever. Whereas the last Avengers, we saw Thanos for the first time.
Yeah. In this case, all we're seeing for the first time is the actual gauntlet.
No, it's the second time, actually.
When did we see the gauntlet?
In Thor, the first one. It's in the.
Oh yeah.
It's in that hall.
Yeah. But officially, that was like if blink and you miss it, like have to hit pause on the Blu-ray kind of thing. I'm talking about like the official, like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is though is apparently they're different hands. So like the one in Thor is a left hand, and the one that we see in the teaser is a right hand.
Whoops.
But I've read like there might be two apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just trying to cover their asses now and they messed it up, but I forget. I think it was Kevin Feige. Somebody asked him about it, or somebody asked somebody and said, "Oh yeah, there could be two. There could be multiple." So we'll see what they do with that. So, okay, so top 5 Marvel movies now.
Let's see. Blade.
No,
Blade
just
2.
just MCU.
Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America 2. Wait a minute. Oh, and Thor 2. That was it. Yeah, because you had to get out of the. Except for Iron Man, like I really didn't. I understood the origins movies and I enjoyed them, but I did not enjoy them as much as the follow-ups once they had gotten rid of the origin thing and they didn't have to worry about that anymore.
Was that 5 or is it 4?
No, it's 5.
Oh, okay, so Age of Ultron doesn't crack your top 5?
No, it was like number 3.
Oh,
It was Avengers, Iron Man, Avengers 2,
okay.
and then like Thor and Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, then Thor.
Yeah.
2.
So yeah, mine Avengers is still my top, and then Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy are kind of interchangeable for 2 and 3.
Galaxy too, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy is like tied. Seriously, it's like tied with Avengers. That's such a good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier are still my 2 and 3, and then I would say 4.
If you had to pick, if someone had a gun to your head.
You know, I would say Winter Soldier, but then again, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 times in the theaters and have the Blu-ray. So, like, I kind of got to give it to
So
Guardians.
it's like Winter Soldier is like a good movie,
Right.
solid movie, but Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster you want to keep getting on.
It's
you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
So it's like
entertaining.
Winter Soldier is like a piece of art where you can go and you look at it and you appreciate it, but you're not going back to look at it again and again and again. Whereas Guardians of the Galaxy is like a roller coaster, doesn't have much like overall artistic value, but it's fun as hell. You just want to keep going back.
And then, so Guardians of the Galaxy second. Number 4, not Winter Soldier, sorry. Iron Man. Iron Man is number 4, and then Age of Ultron is number 5 for me. But still all good. And Sarah, you'll have to let us know when you get around to seeing Age of Ultron.
I guess I will. Maybe I'll Redbox if they still have it, or get my hands on Iron Man 3 and rewatch that now too, so that I have that context. Because after hearing what people are saying about it positively, it makes me want to watch that to see how Whedon's characterization matches up in this one.
And the other thing too that I was disappointed is, I'm sorry, there should have been some sort of call out to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in that freaking movie.
There is. I guess they don't call back, but I mean, the last Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode set up the first scene.
Right, exactly, and that's fine. But like somebody, I need to see a member of that TV show show up in the freaking movie. Period.
I mean,
end of story.
I think it's going to happen during Infinity War. I mean, it has to happen during Inhumans, I would think. But
And I'm looking forward to this week's episode because now we need to see what the fallout is after this.
Right.
Because now instead of like S.H.I.E.L.D., basically we have this Avengers Academy, which I'm guessing is what Theta Protocol was.
Yeah, the new Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be curious to see about that too. All right, well, I think we're running a little long, so time to wrap it up. Anything else you guys? Oh, Sarah, calling back to 45 minutes ago. Did you get that Suicide Squad picture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you get to see the Suicide Squad?
I did, but God knows I can't zoom in on it for love nor money, so I can kind of see vaguely what's happening, but no media outlet in the land will let me get specific on Harley Quinn's costume. So I don't know if she's wearing a tank top or a bustier or like a bra with nothing and her stomach is just really pale. The platforms are interesting. Gonna be cool to see how she manages to fight crime in that, not gonna lie. That's gonna be a thrill a minute. I'll be on the edge of my seat. So that perspective, I'm sure it'll be an exciting movie.
Quite frankly,
I like how they kind of photoshopped Enchantress into the background there, like she's one with the wall. And
so
Katana, I was not expecting at all.
she is wearing a full T-shirt,
With some
slightly
tears.
ripped down by the belly button.
A T-shirt. Oh, that's good armor. That's really
Full
good armor.
T-shirt,
More people
a
should use that.
jacket, like a satiny like jacket, like from the 70s. She's
Mhm.
wearing the what do you call it? The
Platform
what is it
shoes?
called? Like the hot pants, like the really
Yeah,
short
booty
shorts.
shorts. Yep.
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 And like these really like
You
said, the
gotta
high
have
heels and
mobility.
all that.
How can
The
she high
spiking
kick
belt?
people in the face if she doesn't have the booty shorts?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, like this is like Joker's protege, so like, you know,
She's
any
more than
rational
that.
decisions
I know,
are
not at this point, but
Now, Katana, on the other hand, looks badass, but
yeah, she looks
still,
great.
yeah,
Also, it looks like Harley has some tattoos too.
yes.
Grown.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Oh.
that's not like a problem unless they're like trying to go too far with the sexy rockabilly thing, which yeah, they are, but in 10 billion other
the way
ways.
they did Joker's tattoos, I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. So
I just,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like that's a news item that we definitely should have brought up was the revelation of Jared Leto's Joker, which has got people really upset. And so I don't know if they're backpedaling or not, but like the producer or whatever was saying like, oh no, those tattoos were just for the picture. They're not actually in the movie. He doesn't have
Oh, really?
tattoos in the
I
movie.
didn't catch that. That's stupid.
Like
They're back-
why?
in the
Because
movie,
that
he's
would
got,
be
a
like
bunch of
too
stars instead.
anarchist of him.
No, the
Huh?
You're
tattoos
gonna
are
paint
just
a
terrible.
clean-cut Joker.
No, the tattoos
Okay,
are
like
horrible.
I said, I can't zoom. What
They're
are they of?
like
What?
Joker literally has ha 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 tattooed on him a couple times.
Yeah,
And then
Ugh.
across his forehead it says damaged. Like
yeah. You need to look
Are
that
you
up.
fucking
It's
kidding me?
awful. No, you have to look it up.
Terrible.
You have to look it up. So I think they're all because the internet backlash was immediate and harsh. So I think
Apparently, this was
producers
posted
were like,
9 hours ago from
Huh?
a couple of news sites, and he just tweeted a couple of hours ago that, or the picture announcement, that it says a couple of news sites had it up as of 9 hours ago.
No.
So
the
they should have
picture
had
of
time to
Joker.
have.
no, the Joker one.
Jared Leto with the Joker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the Joker got revealed like last week.
yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to put it in, but yeah, I knew we were gonna run long with Daredevil and Ultron, so
Yeah.
not so much time.
Well,
Okay, sorry, that's it.
he can go do lewd acts to a duck anyway. So
I'm sure we'll have plenty more chances to talk about Suicide Squad and Joker coming up, and plenty more times to just groan at it because it's Zack Snyder that's
Yeah.
in charge of this stupid universe.
I like
All right.
Zach. I like his cinematography. I like the way his movies look. They don't always turn out great, but I like the way they look.
Yeah, let him be a director. Do
Yeah,
not
not a
let
writer.
him write or have any sort of creative control over anything.
Yeah.
directing is crazy.
Because, so yeah, that's about it. Anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Nope. Talk about going to bed.
Well, first episode back in the can. Hopefully we'll be back again next week. And oh yeah, I have an outro. You can find links to all of our episodes on comicbookcommunicast.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/comicbookcommunicast. Our audio version is on iTunes and RSS, so you can subscribe and rate us there as well. If you want to watch live, we record every Sunday, hopefully again, at around 8 p.m. Eastern. So join us next week. Thank you and have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.